If you like the content of this channel, consider supporting us by using patreon.com or using Brave Payments. Click below in the description. There it is. What's up, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Reef, and this is your Daily Chat Season 3, Episode 17 for June the 5th, 2018. How's everybody doing today? What is going on? This kind of snuck up on me. While everyone is getting hyped for E3, I think it's this week. Maybe it's next week. But while everyone's being hyped on E3, you passed right under the better conference that is happening right now, and that is Computex 2018. This show in Taipei, Taiwan is where you get like all the good stuff for computing. You know those games that you love so much? Well, this is the conference that shows you what they're gonna run on. And we're already on day 2 of Computex, and we're already getting some hot news coming right out of here, man. And getting right into it, I'll show you guys. Asus has now jumped in to the phone game. That's right. The next person in line after Nvidia is now Asus with the ROG high-end gaming phone with actual buttons. And this phone is crazy spec'd. The specs on this thing are very, very much top tier. But here's the thing though, okay? So the phone has a 6-inch screen with 18:9 display and refreshes at 90 hertz. Okay? That is just that's crazy. But all the specs are top tier as you would expect from something like this. One thing, though, that stands this phone out from the rest is the fact that there is a whole bunch of, like, peripherals that now come with it. As you guys can see here, there's actually, like, a little case kind of thing that allows you to turn your phone into almost a 3DS style device, which is awesome. Now, I will openly admit, I have never been a phone gamer. In fact, if I look on my craptastic Asus phone, the only games I have are Hearthstone, and that's it. Those are the only games I have is Hearthstone. I've never really seen the appeal to phone gaming. I've always been of the mind that if I want to play a game, I want to play it with, you know, a mouse and a keyboard and a headset and a microphone. I want to be able to play like normal. But for some people, man, they might be just creaming their spinach over this. In fact, I can't imagine that this phone with its like insane amount of firepower will not ship a boatload of units for people wanting to play Fortnite. Because Fortnite has been blowing it up, as we all know, and this is just the next step in that. If you want to make your Fortnite experience that much better, this Asus phone is where it is at. As you guys can see here, the key specs, okay? We have the Snapdragon 845 processor. We got an 18:9 6-inch AMOLED display. I am not a fan of like anything by 1080 at this stage in the game, but whatever, that's a personal problem. We got a air trigger for virtual buttons, a side, that's right, a side USB Type-C port, okay? For charging when horizontally gaming. That's right. So they've included, I believe, from how I've seen this in the reports I've seen, there is 2, I think. I think there's 2 Type-C ports, or it might just be 1, but either way, it's on the side, okay? So that way when you're playing like this, you can still have your phone charging without it getting in the way of your hand. How dope is that? That is next level thinking. I hope that engineer got a promotion over that genius idea. 90 hertz refresh rate. We'll come back to this. 12 plus 8 megapixel dual rear cameras. Gaming HDR support, but a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. I'm not sure how to look at that. Is that low? Is that high? I don't know what counts as good battery life for gaming anymore. I really don't, because I am not a phone critic. I'm not a phone reviewer. So I don't have like, you know, tons of phones to scope out, but most of the ones I see are like between 3,000 and 4,000 milliamp hours. So it's like, this isn't exactly next level kind of integration, or next level ideas. So is this gonna have the same battery life with trying to drive such a high-end display? Is this gonna just kill the battery like way quicker? I want to see how these two, how the screen and the amp hours, I want to see how these two sync up to each other. Because when you're trying to drive these kind of pixels at this refresh rate for, you know, extended time, I gotta think 4,000 milliamp hours, you're gonna blow through that pretty quick. I don't think it's gonna last you a whole lot of time. Here we go. Actually, if I just read a little bit below, I would see it here. Asus claims the ROG phone is the fastest on the market at the moment. Clearly it is. It is also said the phone's battery will last over 7 hours during Wi-Fi connected gaming. I highly question that. That is not something I can take at face value. That feels like maybe if you're running like, I don't know, Candy Crush or something small and insignificant, you might get 7 hours out of this phone. But I can't imagine at the start, or if you're playing something high-endly intensive like Hearthstone or Fortnite, that you are going to get the full 7 hours. There's no way. There's no way. You can't take that at face value. This is the kind of claim that when you go to get a remote starter put into your car and the salesman tells you, oh yeah, this thing is great. You can start your car from 2 miles away. That's true. You can, from 2 miles away in the middle of a field in Iowa with nothing in the way, you can hit the 2 mile mark. It can be done. You will never hit it though. And I feel like this number is the same thing. I feel like this is on the exact same line. But I want to know, what do you guys think? Who is hyped for this phone? Because a phone with accessories, a phone with insane performance, insane displays, really just next level ideas with the side mounted USB Type-C port. I want to know, man, how many of you guys are down to buy this phone? Let's say this phone comes in and around the going market flagship price of about $1,100. What will you guys pay for this? Will you guys pay the $1,100 for it? Why am I hearing an echo? I'm just very, very curious to know. Now, the other big news that came out was, well, actually, let's go to this one. Let's go to this other topic first here. Intel has teased that it is going to have the 28 core single socket chip later this year, which Intel has been scrambling for the last year and a half in some ways. Now, Intel still owns the majority of the market share, both in the consumer line and in the enterprise server level industry. They own like everything. But since AMD came back with Ryzen and then Threadripper, AMD has been clawing back the market share. As of May 1st, their market share rose up to 43%, which is, you know, bananas when you think about how much that is in the global scheme of things. So they went from 11% to 15% in a single month, which is a rise of 43%. That is fantastic. But Intel has been having to play catch up, and now we're seeing that, yes, that's exactly what they're doing. And they announced that this year a 28 core processor is going to come out. This is probably going to replace or extend out the 7980XE processor, which is their current 18 core 36 thread top tier unit. This thing goes for $2,000. I don't know anyone who's spending $2,000 on a processor that doesn't just go straight to the Xeon line of things. But this is neither here nor there. They are touting that this new 28 core processor will run at 5 gigahertz. I think natively is how the story's being spun. It's gonna just run at a native 5 gigs, which that is fantastic. Hey, that's stellar performance. But at $2,000, I don't know what I want to see out of it, but I kind of want to see a lot more than just a few cores. And here's the thing too. The more cores you add, the more heat you generate, the more you have to kind of balance that speed to power to heat ratio, that trifecta thing that's going on. So at 28 cores, are we going to see like 2.4 gigahertz? Are we going to see like 3 gigahertz speeds? It says 5 here. I know it says 5, but I don't know how they're going to get to 5. Is this going to be like an actual 5? Is this going to be like a marketing 5? You know, where they like jerry rig the numbers to make it say 5, but it like maybe it's 5 on a boost at the top speed for like 10 minutes, but it can hit 5. Because this is something we've seen already with the existing line of processors, is the ones with the higher core counts have a lower speed to help minimize that heat output so they don't run ridiculously hot. And I have a feeling that this 5 gigahertz here is a marketing 5. I've yet to see any kind of details that would lead me to think I was wrong. But just based on what I know about basic physics, this feels like a marketing 5, not a genuine 5. So we'll see. We'll see about that one. And also, what else is really cool is Intel is giving away a special edition i7 processor called the 8086. Because I guess this is like an anniversary year for the x86 processor. So they made the special i7 8086, and they're going to give away 8,086 of them in a huge sweepstakes. So if you want, just go to the Intel website and game.intel.com, and you will be able to enter for this insane processor. Now, at the time of this recording, there's 1 day and 17 hours left until the contest opens. So if you're watching this on the channel as of like June 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, you're probably okay to really get in there and try and win as much as you can. Although, think about this, if you win and you don't have the motherboard, or if you're using like an old computer, you're going to have to probably invest in a new motherboard and new RAM. So expect this one free processor to cost you about $250, $300. Just a heads up. Now, speaking about new processors and how Intel's having to play catch up to AMD, AMD just comes on swinging and swinging and swinging, with AMD announcing Ryzen 2nd Gen 32 core chips. Oh my goodness. AMD is having a good year and it knows it. After having fallen behind the rival Intel chip after having fallen behind Intel in the chip race, the underdog finally found success earlier this year with 2.1% growth in 2017. And while the number might not seem like a lot, it's a huge gain. And now they are leading up to a brand new chip. Sue took the stage in the crowded hall filled with tech press in the keynote of the company's achievements and announced the first public demo of its 12 nanometer second generation 32 core 64 thread Ryzen Threadripper. The second generation will be available in Q3, and this follows the earlier shipping announcement that the second gen Ryzen chips, not to be confused with the high-end Threadrippers, both of the new chips of Zen Plus architecture, which promises a faster clock speed among other things. 32 cores in 64 threads. And right when Intel thought it, like, okay, cool, we're catching up, we're good, we're gonna stop the hemorrhaging just a little bit. No, Intel or AMD just comes in and just makes that gap even bigger than it already was. Look, Intel might have the smaller node architecture. Intel might have better heat to power performance ratios. But what Intel is not giving the people is pure, raw, core performance. And that is exactly what AMD saw in the marketplace, and that is exactly what AMD came up and took on Intel with. 32 cores, 64 threads. If you have a dual server CPU, you now have 128 threads in one rack. Imagine if you have a 10 rack system, that is 1280 cores. Couple that with, I don't know, call it the NVIDIA HGX-2, and you are building supercomputers on the cheap. You are building them on the low budget at that point. This is awesome, and the fact that this is going to be available to consumers is what I'm very excited about, because I was literally today recording this episode. It is 11:30 right now. 7 hours ago, I almost pulled the trigger on buying a new AMD computer rig just to have like off to the side here. And I'm so glad I held off now, because while, yeah, $500 versus like, you know, this new Threadripper processor, which is probably going to be like $1,500, the other components are the same. So I might just hold off and just see Q3. I can wait it out, and I want to see how much this is, because if I can build my own server, like quality server on the low budget, I am down to do that all day long. All day, Billy. Hey, what's up, Dexter, man? How you doing? What's cracking? In other news that will surprise absolutely no one, emails show that the FCC made up the DDoS attack to downplay the John Oliver effect. This is from Techter. The whole article is rather extensive and long. The long and short of this one is, and I just want to touch on this because I find it hilarious, is the fact that old people being old, and old people love to lie to try and make their points more valid, because that's what old people do. As you guys remember, there was a whole net neutrality thing last year. John Oliver talked about it back in 2014. He talked about it last year as well on his show, The Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. And he pointed everyone to go fill out the form on the FCC's website to protect net neutrality. And of course, because they got bombarded with hundreds of thousands of people, I think it was hundreds of thousands, signing up for this thing, they said that they were the victims of a DDoS attack and malicious stuff, etc., blah, 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 because old people are old. Lo and behold, we now have proof, despite the fact there were no signs of a DDoS attack, despite the fact there were no indications that any kind of malicious attack had ever occurred on the FCC website. Lo and behold, today we have confirmation that they lied to try and save their skin because they wanted to downplay the effect of a major media personality. I swear to God, some old people in power, you just look and wonder how the hell they got there. You just gotta wonder some days. It's like, who do you know, or whose Johnson did you take a bite out of to get to this point in power? Because god damn, I see this a lot about people making stuff up to like give their arguments more weight, but oh, it's never not cringy when the truth comes out. It's never not. And this is just sad. Like, look, I get you want to make as much money as you can as part of the FCC. There's probably some lucrative contract with Verizon in place. But, ooh, just bad form. Just bad form. And in the final story tonight, sex robots won't solve loneliness nor curb violence against women, doctors say. They make it hard for us to love them some days. They really do. Okay, I'm just gonna go through with this. I don't even know how to start this. I'm just gonna read this to you because this is just so mind-numbingly dumb. But let's just go through it. Sex robots are unlikely to solve the loneliness and reduce sex crimes, NHS doctors say. That's the National Health Service. The booming sex technology industry has seen the devices sold for more than 100,000, want to say, British pounds, with speculation that they can provide companionship. But writing in the BJM Sexual and Reproductive Health, medics said that there is no evidence to back up such a claim nor support the speculation that they could stop sex crimes. Dr. Chantel Cox, phrasing, George at St. George's University, and who was the other one? Oh yeah, Professor Susan Bewley of Women's Health Academic Center in King's College, London, went through the research based on sex robots. And while they found that much of the debate about their merits and risks said that they could find no research at all on their health implications, the London medics said the idea of sex bots could provide companionships was patronizing and requires a change in the meaning of companionship from living, interacting persons. It's a sex bot. Oh my god. Sex bots is literally marketing at its absolute finest. Look, I don't think anyone is ever going to be under the delusion that you are going to replace flesh and blood people with a sex bot. But here's the thing, trying to get somebody of the opposite sex, and this is going to sound sexist, but I'm sorry, this is the absolute truth, trying to talk a woman out of her pants is way harder than trying to talk a guy out of his pants. It is just way harder. The comparison just is, it's not even apples to apples anymore. It is like, it is apples to a barrel of fish. It is not even the same thing, okay? But here's the thing. For sex bots, guys just really want to kind of, do their thing and boogie on out. Look, maybe some people are hyper lonely and require the companionship of another person sitting next to them or in the same room. And if that's your case, get a dog. Okay? But here's the thing, you can't have sex with a dog. I don't advise you do. I'm pretty sure it's illegal in whatever state you're watching me in right now. But a sex bot lets you get that one little extra feature you can't get through something else. Look, I understand that they're all worried about the phrasing and the marketing. Worry less about crap like this. Worry more about stuff that actually matters. Like, we just lost John Bain a week or a week and a half ago to bowel cancer. Instead of worrying about the loneliness of people and how they're going to do it with robots, go focus on trying to solve stage 4 cancer. Put your time and efforts to good use. Look, I don't know how boring your day is, okay? That you found that you thought that this article was something worth, like, wasting money on researching. But it's really not. Yes, people are lonely. Yes, loneliness, death by loneliness is a thing. But it's not so much of a thing that I feel like this would have been a good use of funding dollars. This was a waste of money, okay? It's, yeah, you're not gonna get that warm fuzzy feeling. Yeah, you can boil hot water through, like if you put like a tube system, you can get like that warmth of a hug. It's not the same thing, and I will concede to that. But some days, if I want to just get my rocks off, I just want to get my rocks off. And before anyone says,
well, Rex, why don't you go buy a fleshlight?
I've tried them. They're not as good. Trust me, they are just weird feeling. And I'm hoping that maybe, the sex bot development will also develop better synthetic rubbers that will give you that whole, like, actual experience. So, on that closing note, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Daily Chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you did, hey, do hit that follow button if you're watching live on Twitch TV or on Mixer. If you're watching this on YouTube, as you can see here, we are trying to get back to 1,000 subs, so that way I can get my stuff back that YouTube took away back in February. So if you can, hit that sub button. Helps me out a lot. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I've been Arif with the Daily Chat, and I'll see everyone tomorrow. Bye.